Hello, welcome back to Blender CG Live Noding. In this video, I will be showing you how to set up a virtual MIDI piano keyboard to connect to Blender to generate sound on the fly while controlling Suzanne head. Okay, the final result is looking something like this, and I can actually use my keyboard to play. Alright, so yeah, that's pretty cool. It's actually quite simple to do. It's not super complicated, but it's just if you are new to MIDI and new to all this, it can be slightly confusing. So first of all, I downloaded this vmpk virtual MIDI piano keyboard. Should be available for Mac, PC, Windows, and also Linux. So this guy is actually, it didn't create any sound unless you provide some kind of synth. And by default, if you go to edit MIDI connections and under MIDI out drivers, there's this DLS synth. It should be like this by default. You can actually have all kind of sounds. So it's really cool as it is. And on top of this, you can actually relay the MIDI into Blender. And if you have Blender already running AudioNodes, it will actually give you these options. Now, inside Blender, I have these AudioNodes set up like this. So you need to install AudioNodes, make sure it all works properly. So configure MIDI input, and this input should be set to AudioNodes, all right? And then you have this piano node connected to two oscillator, and there's delay and mask. This is actually a little bit fancy. You can actually just work with just a single oscillator. In fact, I can actually do that right now. So just the oscillator, plug in the frequency, and this one can goes into the sync. Let's try this. Oh, okay, it didn't seem to work, or maybe because I changed something here. So MIDI connection, core MIDI AudioNodes, okay. All right, interesting. So maybe I have a feeling sometimes that these AudioNodes can be quite sensitive. Any changes you make while it's running will simply cancel everything. Anyway, if you disconnect the sync, I think it failed. But anyway, that's basically it with AudioNodes. Nothing special. This MIDI goes into this guy, and then it's gonna run. So what happened with Suzanne, however, is something else. This one is controlled using another add-on. It's called AddRoutes. AddRoutes add-on was being called AddOSC and also named MOM before. It's from the same developer, JP. And yeah, it's relaying real-time MIDI OSC from Blender in and out of Blender. So that's what's going on with Suzanne. So Suzanne can go it can go to different places. Why is it? Because this AddRoutes is set up to do so. Let me see if I can actually try to make another object. Let's try this donut. The way we do it is slightly tricky, but it's actually simple. So this donut have location, we just simply need to right click and create real-time route. And then you can see under the route there is a something being created. This route number 1 for the torus locations, we can check, we can try 0, 1 or 2. That's for the locations translate X, Y, Z. So currently the torus is not working. Maybe because we haven't set it up to receive. So once I do that, the torus is moving somewhere really far. So with Suzanne, I already remap it. So this panel is pretty big. We probably can scale it, but this is gonna be too small for the video. But anyway, so with Suzanne, I set it to go in the x-axis. It should be looking at MIDI channel 1, and event type is key on number. So with MIDI, there's always key on, key off, note on, and note off. That's something that's really common. So when you press a key, it knows which number of the key it's pressing, and then also when it's being pressed or being lifted up, so it's on and off. And here I already remapped Suzanne, remap it, so it's from MIDI 0 to 1 to 7. It's gonna cut it to -20 and 20. Right, so with our torus donut here, we can do the same thing. Set it to -10 and 10 maybe. And now we can see the torus is also moving. And you can actually record it if you turn on recording. So you can, on top of this, you can actually set it so it's sending in and out. I believe so. If I send the torus, this one should actually make sound to the keyboard. Score MIDI, looking at network session. The setup of the MIDI, of course, you need to make sure everything works properly. So this one is actually receiving from vmpk output, and it's sending out to network session 1. So if everything works correctly, you should actually hear something on the piano. Maybe it's not 100% working yet. Sometimes what can be confusing is actually with the MIDI and relying, you need to connect the network to the right one. I know that this guy is listening to network 1. But on top of that, I mean, with the Mac, you have audio MIDI set up over here, where you can set up your iPhone, iPad, or something virtual, and you can go to MIDI Studio, and then here you actually need to ensure which one is being rerouted to where. It's slightly confusing, so you can rewire all these connections. So now this guy is not even controlling this MIDI out drivers core MIDI network sessions. Now it's controlling Suzanne, but it doesn't make any sound. But it's not controlling our torus, which is pretty strange. Maybe I did something bad. But anyway, on top of that, I actually have another driver. So we are basically driving Suzanne with another with a MIDI, right? But we are also can be driving Suzanne color using SVerchok. I'm using SVerchok to drive the color of Suzanne. If I play back this will actually work. So you see the color, rainbow color, red to green, blue. Yeah. So this one is being controlled by SVerchok. SVerchok is looking at position of Suzanne, grab the X positions, remap the range, so it goes from 0 to 1. So it's normalizing the value of Suzanne color. And here I can control the intensity of the light, so it's glowing more. This is the HSV of Suzanne, right? Different color. The hue is being controlled by this value, and the value is controlling Suzanne material. So yeah, a lot of things happening here. The funny thing is everything is just value number. So it's controlling one number. This MIDI key number is controlling the sound of AudioNodes. That's currently doesn't quite work. I don't know why this one doesn't work. Funny. Oh, this one, because the donut is set to send and receive. Oh, send only. Okay, it needs to be both. And so currently the AudioNodes still doesn't work. I think it's just a bug or something. But with MIDI, with virtual MIDI piano keyboard, you don't need AudioNodes. If you want to make sound, just set it to DLS synth on the Mac. However, if you do that, we don't have any connections to Blender, unfortunately. So this is where we need to set this properly. Core MIDI AudioNodes. Now it's working again, which is pretty funny. Maybe it takes a while to connect the dots. Plug this. Let's try. Plug this in. Oh yeah, I just made a random sound. Okay, but anyway, that's the whole connections. It's actually a lot of things going on here. AudioNodes, SVerchok. This one is the AddRoutes add-on. This is rather new, very new, and then you can control anything with this guy actually. I mean, using MIDI, OSC, or Blender Remote. And this virtual MIDI keyboard. I don't have a real keyboard. I'm just using my keyboard. So it's really, really cool that each one of them is talking to each other. If you want to something that's more complex, you can use the MIDI out and use the different machines, and you can have the whole orchestra running together. And with Blender, it's also you can have like a DJ setup or something. All right. So yeah, there you go. Hopefully you find this interesting. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Bye.